Okay, let me tell you what the story is. Basically, so I knew nothing about you at all, I'd say a month ago. And then like a month later, the only thing I hear in my life is LBA. I walk on site, I go in every single status, there's LBA. I go here, there's LBA. I thought I did marketing and I realized I don't do anything. I happen to be a guy who knows about LBA. So bottom line is, what I want to understand is, everyone in the world knows you as LBA. I just want to know what planet you came from and took over the world. So I want to understand the story. It's a good story. There's got to be a story.
Interesting.
So, you do a ton of content marketing. I think you're doing everything right. It's funny, a couple days ago, I put some rant on my status, right? I do a lot of rants. And I was ranting about people who they have an Instagram account and then 20 minutes later they're selling marketing services. And then you messaged me, you're like, what's going on? So I told you I wasn't talking about you. You're doing marketing, right? You're doing content marketing, you're doing raw, you're doing behind the scenes, you're storytelling, you're showing, you're not telling. You're doing all the big mitzvahs. I don't know how you figured it out because you didn't go to my course, but you somehow figured it out. So I just want to like this. Let's start from the beginning. Where did Shimon Friedman fall off? What's your plan? Give me a little background.
First of all, it's hard. I don't often say the story, but when I'm sitting here at the Westwood, I just feel like I'm comfortable. And this is the vibe, the energy, and it opens.
Marketing,
Did you see that?
His stuff is so good. I'm sitting here. It's like.
You saw my email last night? You saw the email?
I saw some of it. I'm gonna get to it.
It's not crazy. Okay.
I know, but it's good. I'm watching sports. I'm like watching a chess player in action. It's good stuff. Okay. Anyway, Westwood plug. We're at the Westwood. And
yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay. We have to make sure to know that. But that stories like this, it's really to be straight honest with you. I can say today, tomorrow. Obviously everything is from Hashem, but this literally, I didn't do anything special. I just went along with the punches, and Hashem just really put it in my hands. I obviously I had a lot of energy when I was a kid. I loved sports. I was very into sports.
Where'd you grow up, by the way?
Lakewood, New Jersey. Born
and
bred.
You're a Lakewood boy. Born and bred. Wow.
Father's a mashgiach. My mother has a play group. Yeah, we used to love playing sports. And then being as a man about 8 years ago, I must have been 22 years old, and my father was mashgiach in Newman, so I had that gym.
Okay. Newman's Yeshiva, local Yeshiva?
Yeah, and they have a beautiful gym.
Okay.
So I had access to it, and I asked Rabbi Newman, can I make games being his man once a day, and I'll charge the guys $5 a guy to play, and we'll split it. So he said, sure. So I did that, and 15 guys fill up in a second, and then I started doing one at 3 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock, 2 games a day, and the place was full, and I realized how there was such a desire for it to play and to really, and it was just not just paying to play. It was such good energy, and it was such positivity, and I realized there's a bigger demand here. So Chai Cup had a league, small league, whatever, just 6 teams, guys playing, and then he fizzled out. So I jumped. I just basically took in. I'm like, let's do a league. Start from there. The next season, right after that, I made a logo. I printed it out in BP, like a piece of paper, LBA logo, and I hung it up. I saw pictures from it, and then I started getting sponsors. It was just adult basketball, and that was the interesting sell, because it all boils down to sales really. And I went into stores selling them something that didn't exist.
You started from the beginning with the idea that LBA is going to be a marketing company that's also a sports league?
No.
That evolved. It started as a sports league. Start as a way for people to play sports.
Yeah.
You were organizing it. Can you take me one step before we get to there? Let's go back one step. You went to Yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael?
Yes.
Yes, which Yeshiva?
The Mirror.
You were in the Mirror.
The wax show. Amazing.
So everyone I've spoken to today, by the way,
been in
big
the
shout out yes, Mirror guys, Mirror guy myself. So there's a lot of nachas here. So we got to get this to Nosson Tzvi at some point when he wants to do his fundraising. But I just spoke to Heshi Hecht, and he started his story exact same way. He's a guy in the Mirror, in Adira. He decided to take a design course. He had something in his head. He wants to take a design. I don't know if he was in the Mirror at the time, he was already married, whatever it was. But bottom line is, he takes a design course, he comes back to America, he starts his first couple jobs. He started at the beginning. I think part of the idea of this podcast is for people to understand how businesses actually work. The businesses they know and love, to really understand it.
By the way, you put Storytribe marketing right there.
The story and the tribe.
That's very good. I like that.
Yeah, because people see businesses around and people have an illusion, just myself, you see a built-up business, there's a lot of things you don't understand. First of all, people assume, a guy got something from his parents, his father dropped it, he walked in, he marched into $1 million business, and that's
small loan of $1 million.
Right, exactly. That's illusion number one. Illusion number two is that a guy starts off and then within 5 minutes later he's all over Lakewood and he's just rocket ships to the top, which almost never ever happens. And then there's a bunch of things. So I want people to understand the businesses that they see, know, and love in Lakewood, what actually happened, the real story, and it's going to be happening at the Westwood, another Westwood plug. Every like 7.5 minutes, my plugged alarm goes off, on average.
You have like an alarm or something.
Yeah, a little
clap,
Westwood,
like applause.
a little electric shock for the Westwood.
That's very interesting. It's true. It's true. Listen,
so I want to go back with you. You're a guy in the mirror.
Yeah.
What in your head? Do you have an idea what you were going to go to at that point?
No, you should know that.
Yeah.
About 2 years into LBA. I started LBA before I was married. I got married like a year later. About 2 years into LBA, I got offered a job because some people saw it and it was growing, but it was wasn't near what it is. But people liked it and they liked the marketing and at the level it was then, and they got an offer for a regional director of marketing for a nursing home for four nursing home, and I took the job.
You took the job?
I took the job.
Wow. Okay, now we're getting the good secrets here. Okay.
And I worked there for about 4.5 months, 5 months, until I made a very hard decision that I think I see a bigger future in LBA. Baruch Hashem, I made that decision. But I literally took another job. And then I decided, no, I'm just jumping full into LBA. Left that job, I got an office, a one-room office.
Yeah.
And I got a secretary, and that's where it started.
And that was it. How did you get a job offer for director of marketing with zero marketing experience? Can I ask you a straight up question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because why do you want someone with marketing experience?
I mean, I'm not going to just go to a train and pick someone off and put them director of marketing in my company.
So what are you looking for when you see someone with marketing experience?
It's a good question.
I'll tell you the answer.
Okay.
No, the answer is because you want someone that knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, when you see someone that knows what they're doing, they know what they're doing. Who cares how they know what they're doing? You're
going to plug them in. When you hire someone for your company, you do the same thing? You don't care about experience? You hire the person, not the position?
It's unique, meaning if it's someone I don't know, you don't know anything about them. So the only thing you know is their experience. So yeah, you have one conversation, it looks like that, but if someone that I know day to day and I see them and I know that they're good, so then that's good enough for me.
Did those people know you?
They knew me, yeah.
Okay. So they hired you. They like this guy, we're going to take this guy. And they were probably right, but they just lost out. And what made you make that decision to jump out? I'm not saying why you left that company. I'm just saying, like, Parnassa starts to become a real thing once you're married, right? It becomes a serious conversation.
First of all, it was traveling, but that's not the reason. The reason was I saw that I saw something in LBA. I saw that there could be a future. It could be big, and it was and the main thing is that I loved LBA, and I loved working. And the most famous saying my father always says is, though, if you love what you do, you don't never work a day in your life. And
right.
I'll take that over making more money. And working something.
Well, no, I hear it. Is it because for me, part of it for me is, I think I never worked. I mean, all the way back, I was a teacher, so in a school. But in terms of creative, I never worked with someone else. From the beginning of my career, I don't think I ever could. I don't know if I'd be good at it. I don't know if I should take that off. If I have to regret that one day, but I love what I'm doing. But I loved when I did art. I did illustration.
Right, but not for someone else.
But that's not part of it.
That could be part of loving what you're doing. That could be part of loving what you're doing.
Because I have to create. I have visions in my head. I have to create them, and I have to have the freedom to create it. That was part of it. Was there something that was like I needed to be able to do my thing? Yeah,
and also happens. Yeah, and nursing marketing is a whole different world. It's not real marketing. It's not marketing. It shouldn't be called
nursing
marketing.
Home in general,
it should be called nursing home. Sales, not even sales.
Filling, beds, right.
It's a different world. It's not marketing.
Right. Marketing and sales, that's a whole nother good question. We have to get to that conversation. So let's jump back for a second. So you're by Vagshal, you started LBA, you started a little thing. You have a bunch of kids running around the gym.
No kids.
No kids? It was always adults?
We had to start off with 6 teams of adults, 42 adults. And then the next year we had like 8 teams. Next season we had 8 teams. And then we added on kids, like 48 kids.
Okay.
And then we added on football, baseball, football, adults. So then whatever, it progressed. Mm-hmm. But we started very small, then we kept adding. And now we have over 4,000 players, 12 different leagues, all different ages. Basketball, baseball, football, volleyball, bowling, chess.
Chess.
Yeah.
I like that, by the way.
You know why we open chess?
I think that's important.
You know why we open chess?
Yeah, not every kid's great at sports.
We got a call
100%.
from the schools
Yeah,
and asked us if we open chess for boys that are not at sports club.
right.
It's amazing.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
So let me jump into something, and if you're comfortable, you'll answer this, and if not, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Everything is what it is. So Lakewood's a beautiful place. Era Torah, tremendous amount of standards here and direction in terms of how this community goes. Was this a big chiddush when you opened it, and did you get pushback, and how did you navigate that?
That's a great question.
Okay.
I definitely, so basically when I started it, like we said, it wasn't a thing. I didn't know it was a thing, so then I didn't think about it much because it wasn't a thing. What happened was, once I realized, hey, right, so after the third year, all of a sudden we went from 48 kids to 80 kids, then to 300 kids, and the next year we had 700 kids. Right. And I'm like, then I looked back, I'm like, okay, this is something that I have a real right. And also, I was by all the games, I started seeing the impact it makes on these kids and how involved they are and how much they appreciate it, how much they love it, and how much they gain confidence in this and how much impact we were able to have on these kids in a positive way, and how good it was for them that I realized, hey, this is not for me to make these certain decisions. So then that's why I got a Rav, right? We got a Rav, and I started looking at a whole different lens that, not a small thing, but you're running something that is involved in kids and chinuch, and you have to make sure you're asking the right people and getting the right guidance.
Right.
So we got a Rav right away, and then I hired Moshe Berman to be like the commissioner of the leagues, and we definitely got pushback, but Baruch Hashem, we set ourselves up very correctly, and we're making the rules, the decisions based on the Astera, that we're able to navigate through that and work it out. And I think so we
Let's
have
say developing the Midos Award. That was your concept that came from
yeah,
them?
that was our no. So
Okay.
so what happened was basically is we ran into a little bit of a catch-22s because we're very into the fact, right, the kids have to the positive impact it makes on the kids, and the whole idea and the concept and our the mindset that starts from the top down, that the management, every coach, every referee, every gym manager to across the line, is that the key here is for the boys to have a healthy outlet, so that here's the point,
Okay.
that they could do better in school and in the ruchnius and learn better, and that's the point. So I mean,
And
this
in
is not
life.
the ikr. This is something to be able to give them the ability to do better in what's the real thing, and that's the key how to look at it. Now what happened was
Are we back on or are we not back on?
yeah.
We're
What
back.
happened was about right when we started up, when we started getting big, is that we, how it is, LBA style, we do everything like 100%. So we had, like, everything was done like down to a T, and what that caused was a professionalism that it caused like a competitiveness amongst the kids because they're in a real thing. So that's why we had to take a step back, look at it, analyze it, and say, okay, so now we have to make sure that every person, every kid, every parent, everyone understands that the main thing here is not the sport, is having a good time, having a healthy outlet. So that's why we did the media cards. We stopped a thing. We gave trophies to both teams. We talked to all the kids before. We explained to them what it is. The media cards, right? They don't go to the best kid who had the most shots. The kid who had the best midas. We make sure that everyone has equal playing time. There's no captains of a team. There's a kid shoots a shot. I don't care if it goes in or not. Beautiful shot, great shot. You get next time, you'll do a great thing. It's all about across the board everything. So it's not. We don't give energy to the best players or to the better thing. We give it to the effort and the trying and just being there and having a good time. And even so much so, we don't post standings. If you look at the papers, there's no standings for the junior leagues because it's not about the standings. It's about coming and having a good time. It happens to be that in a league you have to have it. That there's a thing, but that's not what it's about. It's about coming, having a good time, and you know what? The whole professionalism of the league is really just to make the kids want to come and to make them make them feel like they're part of something, so that they could experience this growth and experience this outlet. Because any kid could go play in the backyard and play whatever.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to tell you, I love this concept of the sports, like a Jewish, Yiddish, or a different angle on sports, but also at the same time being an incredible sports experience, having both at the same time. So my personal experience with sports, my one experience with sports personally in my life, so I was not the sports kid growing up. Let me
Really?
put it that way. You'd be shocked. I know looking at me, you're like
So,
6'7", and you never played ball. But shockingly, I was the kid making cartoons in the back of the classroom, and then putting them on the teacher's desk or whatever it was. But I was not the sports guy. And then I got to high school in Long Beach, and basketball was a big thing because we had Camp Harum. So first summer, this is 9th grade. Everyone's getting to know each other. We started, I have to think it was 9th or 10th grade. I don't remember which one it was. But anyway, we were playing against other yeshivas. So it was a big thing now to be on the league, and they selected the best guys in the class are going to be on the basketball team. So that, being a Judowitz, was not something that I wanted to accept. Who says Mechatesi just was the best? Like, we're in Yeshiva now. It's one thing, I suffered this the entire elementary school for 8 years. I'm not going through this thing again. So I got up and I went to the mashgiach and I was like, I made a protest. This was how my class was introduced to me. So I mean, okay, it got better from here, but that was my introduction. The social skills were not peak at that time.
And did you end up?
So here's what happened. So I said, I was like going to lay down on the basketball court. I'm like, you guys are not playing. There are other kids in this class. This is not, where in Judaism does it say that the best kids play basketball against Chaim Berlin? It's like, fine. So Judowitz, so like, okay, whatever. After arguing, they let me on the game. So I start off the big game against Chaim Berlin. I got one pass. It went right through my hands. I hit a kid in the stands. And that was the end of my
you said,
basketball
okay, fine. I get it.
I did it. I was there. I stood up on the field. I made my point, and I can move on with life. But I love the fact that you're pulling that in from step one, from the beginning, of making it something. And like you said, you have something for chess. You have all different types of kids, and that to me is very cool.
Yeah, and not only that, we have adults, tons. We have the baseball league. We have 44 teams, over 750 actual adults playing in the league.
Right.
And you know what's interesting? That in many cases the adults need it more than the kids.
For sure.
They have a long week in yeshiva or working or whatever. They get a night out, come out with the friends, do something healthy, move around, and that's why we took on Hamed, the health partner, to.
Ding. We got it. Okay, yeah. It's good. You're getting a lollipop for everyone.
Ding.
Yeah.
And no, it's also in adults. We have tiers. We have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So initially it was just the best players. Now it's for any guy that could play in tier 2 or tier 3, regular,
Feel comfortable with your Elo.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's interesting because I found, it's like counterintuitive, but when you're in yeshiva, you're in kollel or whatever it is. In some ways, this might not play over well in some sectors, but in some ways I actually had more time to relax because it's built in. So you have a little bein hastarim, you have a little bein hazmanim. When you're in business mode, you work. We'll talk about business mode. Anyone who runs their own business, right? There's no beginning and no end. Business will fill every single empty space in your life if you let it. And what ends up happening is that you can get into this zone, and then you wake up like 6 months later and like, who are those kids? And like, who is that? Who's that woman? And like literally, you'll wake up and you'll come out. And I think what's cool is that you built something that it's making everyone healthier. It's healthier. It's a more normal thing. Like there has to be part for men. What about for women, by the way? I've heard this question already.
We have. Yeah. First of all, we have for women.
You have leagues for women?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Not in Lakewood though.
Uh-huh.
In Boca Raton.
Ah, interesting.
We have leagues for men, for kids and women and girls there.
Uh-huh.
But Lakewood, I do not have for women because I just I feel like I have more to lose than to gain.
Okay. I hear it because I'm saying I think the need is there.
Could be.
It's like men. What do we have? We have shul, right? We have Fabringen, we have LBA. We got it all set up. But I think other people, especially young girls also need outlets, need ways to express. Let's talk for a
business.
second. Yeah, let's talk business. Let's talk tachlis. So we're here at the Westwood, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Westwood is an LBA sponsor.
Westwood is an LBA sponsor, and more than that, I am on Team Westwood.
You're on Team Westwood?
Yeah.
Nicht gewusst. Okay, we learn new
Westwood.
things every day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jersey.
you're on Team Westwood. Your jersey says Westwood, the head
Yeah.
of LBA. Okay, can't get better than that.
Thank you,
Shimon,
Yoel,
I love
for
it.
having us.
Gewaldig, we'll
I
do this
appreciate
again.
it. Yeah, we definitely do. And
Amazing.
stay tuned for Team Storytribe.